Hey guys, welcome back to Fallout 76. Today's video is going to feature the top 3 locations that I think are amazing for grinding and leveling, and basically how I decided this was like through past experience, but then also the sheer amount of enemies in these different locations. So we're going to be hopping into the gameplay today. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think of this type of video and if you'd like to see more videos like this. And if you're new to the channel, definitely make sure to go back and check out the other guides, as there are a ton of them on the channel that I think would be very valuable to you. So let's go ahead and let's load into this, and let's start with number 3. Alright, so these are my top 3 areas. That might not be your top 3 areas, or maybe you have a different order. Maybe these are your favorite places, but they're in a different order. That could be the case, but basically the reason why I put them in the order that I did is because of the way that the area is and how easy it is to do and how many enemies there are and just like how enjoyable it is to do the different areas. So the first place that we're going to be talking about is the Watauga High School right here. If you guys don't know, the Watauga High School is down here in the bottom corner of the map, and it is home to an event called Monster Mash. Basically, there's a ton of ghouls that could be inside. Who is this guy? There's a ton of ghouls that could be inside, and they will just come over and over and over again. And there's an event called Monster Mash where you get this little piñata helmet, and then the students come and try to attack you. They're ghouls, and it just happens over and over again. You can get different candy that you can redeem for prizes. It's a very interesting location, and who is this guy? What's he doing here? Just hanging out. But basically, this is a really enjoyable area to come to, but it's my top 3. It's my number 3 location because it is not as enjoyable for me as the other locations. And like I said, yours might be a little different than mine, but that is my idea of like the top 3 for the game. This is a little dispenser that gives you the ability to redeem your candy, and so as you go along you'll get candy, and a certain amount of candy will be able to be redeemed. And so I'm not going to check it right now, but basically there's a bunch of different options that you can pursue, and you can save up tons of candy to get the maxing, which is a legendary item. And then also another thing that's very important to note is that there are these different things around the area. This area is great for collecting plastic. There's bowls and dinner trays and things like that all over the place. It's worth checking out all the table and picking up everything that is in this location. So that's another reason why this area is so good, is because you can get all kinds of different materials, plastic being the number 1 thing. And you'll be able to see that there will be a little helmet that pops, like a mask essentially, that pops up that you'll have to collect, and when you collect it you become it. And then once you are it, you'll have to go through and defend against all the ghouls, and there'll be like these little pumpkins that you can collect, and the kids will all run to the different pumpkin locations, and then generally there's a ton of different ghouls that will be at each of the little areas that have the pumpkins. And so you'll have to kind of look around for them, but there'll be all kinds of different ones that pop up in different locations. So you can get quite a bit of experience from these different locations, and I think if you leave the candy there, more ghouls will actually come as time goes on, and so you can kind of repeat the individual processes in and of themselves. And so just you'll see where the ghouls kind of congregate to the little pumpkin areas, and that will just repeat itself a few times until the first round ends, and then you'll be able to do it over and over again. And sometimes, as you can see right here, there will be a legendary, and so it's a very valuable location to come to for multiple reasons, legendary being one of them. And so definitely make sure to check that as well. Oh, what did we get there? A Furious 50 cal machine gun. Let's go ahead and check that out, because that could be really good. 3-star. We've got damage increase for each consecutive hit. Bullets explode for area damage and 15% faster reload. Holy moly, that was a good find. And so yeah, you can get some really nice things like that here. And so there you go. Point proven. It's a great area to come to. And man, I think I've had one of these before, but I had it when it was broken, and it wasn't as good of one. And so this thing might be one of my new favorite. Holy smokes! One of my new favorite weapons. Oh my gosh! All right, coming in at number 2 is the White Springs Golf Club, for obvious reasons. there are tons of ghouls here, and you can get some insane experience in this location. And then not only that, there's always a legendary glowing one or Wendigo in the bottom of this area, and so it is a very valuable location to come to for those different reasons. And then not only that, but it's one of the highest frequented locations. And so the cool thing is that the more people that come here, if you guys don't know, the more people that come here, the more times that these will respawn, and so you can do this area over and over again. I don't know about this thing, guys. I might use this only against like a Scorch Beast or something like that, but basically this is one of the best locations to come to for those reasons. And then sometimes, like I said, you'll have some legendary stuff that will be here. Not very often. They've definitely nerfed this location, but there's always a Wendigo or a glowing one that shows up here in the bottom area, and so it's a very valuable place to come to. And then, like I said, not only that, but there are tons of people that come here, and so given the fact that it's a very frequented area, you wind up running into these things being like respawning over and over and over again, and so you can grind for a long time here. And then not only that, it's one of the most common locations that gets nuked, and so there will be the amount of experience that you can get here in a nuked location is insane. There's so many glowing ones that can be here. And then not only that, but post nuke is great as well. So when you clear out the golf club, just come around here and basically do this loop. There's a loop that you do. You kind of run through here, and there's always going to be like a Deathclaw or honey beast in here. Sometime a Grafton monster, wolves, bees, things like that. In this middle area, it looks like somebody's already killed it. And then all the way through all of these buildings, both on this side and on the other side, over there are ghouls that can spawn. And so you basically just make your way through this location, killing all the different ghouls and collecting the loot and things like that, and getting the experience. And then just go to the other side and just repeat and server hop and do it over and over again to your heart's content. Now, the reason why this is not number one, and it is for most people, is because of the sheer fact that there's one other location on the map that gives you way more of an opportunity to get legendary items. And so mixing experience with legendary items is a better thing in my opinion, and it's super easy to do. It's more controlled, and it's not as frequented as other people as this location. But the good thing is that you don't want that location to be as frequented as others, because it gets screwed up if more people come. And so that, and the ability to get really good loot as a result of being the only one there. And so this area is my number 2 location. It used to be my number 1. It is no longer my number 1. It's my number 2 now. I'm sure for most people it is their number 1, but I wonder if your number 1 would switch after we talk about the next location. So let's go ahead and let's load into my number 1. So some people might have been able to guess this. Westtech is my new favorite location to go to. It is my number 1 location for grinding, leveling, getting tons of loot, good loot for selling to getting caps, and then also finding legendary enemies. The Westtech has the ability to have 4 inside legendary enemies and then 2 on the outside. It's right here in the middle of the map, right next to White Springs, and basically there can be 2 multi-star legendary enemies that can spawn on the outskirts, and then 4 that can spawn inside. 3 regular enemies and 1 multi-star, and sometimes 2 multi-star and no other legendaries. And so it definitely varies. There's very high enemies here. There's can be a variation of levels on the outside, ranging from like 5 to like 10 or 15 to level 68 and the high stuff. And so it just depends on like what what you get, your chances here. But basically this area is one of the best, if not the best location to come to in game. Currently there's a suicider outside, so look out for that. So one reason why this area is really good is not only the legendary enemies, but also the sheer amount of experience that you can get here and how quickly you can level. I leveled here ridiculously fast, like 12 levels in like it had to be like 2 hours, not very long at all. And it's just a great location. And then not only that, but all of these super mutants drop caps, and they drop assault rifles, which are great for selling. And so if you need some caps and you're short on caps, go anywhere that there is a super mutant location and grab the assault rifles and then go sell them, because they can sell for quite a bit depending on which one you get. And so that's one reason why it's really good. And then not only that, but also, like I said, the leveling and the sheer amount of legendaries that can be here. So once you clear out the stuff on the outside, generally there's a legendary up here, almost always. Not 100% of the time, but a high percentage of the time there will be a legendary here, and then there can also be a legendary on the other side of the building. And then once you've cleared out the outside, go ahead and make your way inside. Now, I've covered this many times in my most recent videos because it's such... I want people to come here and grind this location before they nerf it, because if they nerf it, I should say, if they nerf a location, this will be the next place by far, because it's just so good. And so I don't even know like how they you know, dictate like how many, like what places to nerf or whatever, or why they nerf a location. But I have to imagine that this would be an area simply because it is such a really good location, and I've seen way more people here lately. And so if it's anything like what happens to White Springs, that might be the case here. But so get in while you can. And so yeah, just make your way through this area. There will be several different... This looks like a server that has not been like had anybody come here, as all the doors are closed. And so I generally just grab all the assault rifles, make my way through here. Sometimes there's a legendary in here, not as often as the other locations, and then come through this door right here, and this is where you're gonna see the majority of the super mutants, and where there will be most of the time a legendary will be in here. But sometimes if there's not one in here, I'll show you where it can be, as there's another location where it might be, and I don't want you to miss it, because you can come here and you can totally miss this location, because there's a door that you have to open. And so once you make your way through this area, there will be, like I said, there'll be super mutants pretty much all over the place in here, and some glowing hounds and stuff. So definitely make sure to kill these guys. And then once you've done that, make your way upstairs, as there is a crown boss. Well, I almost died there. Holy smokes! There's a crown boss that can spawn upstairs, and generally that has some pretty good stuff on it. One reason why they're also good is because they drop dog food, and they also drop caps, and then, like I said, the rifles and stuff. And this guy, the crown, usually has missiles and stim packs and stuff on them, and so you can actually get stocked up quite a bit. Now, since we're up here in this room, note this terminal right here. You're going to use this terminal to open that door down there, and that door down there has a key card behind it. Now, I already have the key card, so I should be able to access the computer and the terminal and the doors. But another thing, there's also some fruit and stuff in here that you can grab, some nut fruit and whatnot. And then, like I said, just make your way through here and kill everything that's in here. And generally, if you don't see any legendaries by now, they'll be in this area, and if they're not in this area, they're in the area that is walled off, that you're going to have to get access to. So then once you've cleared out all the super mutants in that area, come over here to the security gate and unlock the terminal right here, and there will be even more super mutants inside. And like I said, if you haven't seen any legendaries by now, this is where they're gonna be. And so you can see there's one right there, and they will just come pouring out of this location. And so just keep that in mind. I'm gonna open it up again because I didn't go through. I didn't realize that actually automatically closes. So let's go ahead and just kill this guy and get whatever he has. And generally they drop some really good stuff, and so this area they can have some really decent items. So yeah, we'll go ahead and kill that. And then like I said, there's gonna be a ton of them in here. They're gonna come from all over the place. There's gonna be some upstairs and some downstairs, and just, you know, dispatch them as quick as you can, because they'll just keep coming and they'll do a lot of damage to you. And now luckily I have life saving on, so that's very helpful for me. But you can see how much damage they're doing to me. And there's a crown right there. I've actually I don't think I've ever seen a crown in here, so that's a first. And like I said, there can be like up to 4 legendaries inside here, and so definitely worth coming over and over and over again to this location. And I've grinded here so many times now. Let's go. We'll check that out here in a second. The life-saving one. Legendary. There's a cultist blade. grab all this. And so like I said, there can be some upstairs and downstairs hidden in these rooms. In here there'll be a bunch. They're kind of just all over the place, so you'll have to just go through. But I mean, look at how much experience I'm getting. You can see for yourself how valuable this area is for grinding and whatnot. And so yeah, this is my #1 location. It's super easy to do. You just can complete it over and over again, and hop servers, and get tons of loot and tons of experience and stuff. It's just a really nice place to come to. So let's check this out before we go. So we got this call display. That is a 40% more power attack. That's always good to get. And then this one right here, which is just a 1-star off that 3-star. Unfortunately, that happens sometimes. So yeah, this is my #1 location. Obviously, those who've been watching my channel could have probably predicted that, but it's worth showing nonetheless. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are enjoying the Fallout content still. Thank you so much for all the support that you've been leaving on the channel lately. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. And definitely make sure to subscribe if you guys are new to the channel and you haven't already and you're looking for more Fallout guides and content. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.